Have you ever looked at old photos of yourself, maybe before kids, maybe from early marriage, and thought, where did that version of me go? Not out of regret, not because you don't love your life, but because you genuinely don't recognize the woman looking back? You love your kids, life is good, but you feel like you've faded. Today we're going to talk about why that happens, psychologically, neurologically, and spiritually, and how to consciously rebuild a version of you that is not the old you, but a more elevated version. Hello, my friends. My name is Hannah, and here in Purposeful Home, I help women manage their homes with intention, keep the romantic spark in marriage alive, and embrace the beauty of motherhood. If any of that resonates, be sure to subscribe and stay connected. This topic is one of the most common messages I receive. I feel like I disappeared. So let's talk about why and how to get you back. First, we're going to discuss losing identity through adaptation. Before motherhood, identity is usually based on hobbies, personal rhythms, spontaneous choice, how you present yourself, how you spend your time, who you spend your time with. You were the center of your internal experience, not in a selfish way, but in a human, natural way. After motherhood, identity becomes external. Mother, scheduler, nurturer, problem solver, emotional regulator. Your identity shifts from who you are to what you do. There is a very important truth here. If you do not consciously reconstruct identity after motherhood, the brain defaults into role-based living, meaning I am what I provide. So instead of being a woman with a life, you become a provider inside of everyone else's life, or at least it seems that way. You stop referencing yourself, and self-reference is what identity needs to survive. So let's talk about the nervous system and identity collapse, mainly matrescence and survival mode. Neuroscience calls this transition matrescence, which is the neurological reshaping of a woman into a mother. Studies show the vigilance centers increase activity, your empathy circuits heighten, your brain forms new neural pathways for response behavior, which means the brain becomes primed for anticipating, monitoring, being responsive, and emotional buffering. So what's the problem? The problem is identity cannot form inside reaction mode. Identity needs introspection, emotional bandwidth, stillness, individualized attention, and decision making. And when you're in survival mode, there is no stillness. Every moment is, who needs me next? What's the next problem to solve? How do I prevent a meltdown? When do I finally pause? A mom can sometimes tell herself, I'll take care of myself after bedtime. I'll shower when everyone else is settled. I'll eat last. Her nervous system interprets this as, I go last, which then becomes identity, not logically, neurologically. So as an example, a woman who used to read before bed, journal, wash her hair regularly, dress intentionally, have routines, can sometimes find herself eating cold leftovers while standing up, answering questions all day, multitasking emotionally, sleeping light, wearing whatever is clean or clean-ish. This is not laziness, this is adaptation. But adaptation, when not reversed, can become emotional erosion. And sometimes our childhood conditioning magnifies this identity loss. Here's where many women misunderstand their identity collapse. Motherhood didn't create self-abandonment. Motherhood revealed self-abandonment because for many women, their identity was never rooted in self. It was rooted in approval, achievement, being helpful, being agreeable, being easy, being needed. These patterns came from childhood conditioning. Girls who were praised for being mature, the strong one, the caretaker, the helper, often grew up believing my value is in removing inconvenience. So when motherhood arrives, they don't just love their children, they disappear into service. And this is not actually maternal instinct. This is relational conditioning. And this is why motherhood feels so identity altering. It's not that you turned into someone new. It's that everything that was unhealed became magnified. And unfortunately, if we're not careful, it's easy to slip into the martyr mom identity. Culturally, we celebrate moms who sacrifice. I call it weaponized selflessness. The good mom is exhausted. The good mom lets herself go. The good mom is always last. But research from the Journal of Family Psychology shows Women who over-identify with sacrifice experience higher burnout, resentment, emotional withdrawal, and self-neglect, because martyrdom is not love. It is disappearance disguised as devotion. Joe Dispenza talks about this in many of his books, where he says identity is a set of emotional patterns rehearsed into personality, meaning if your dominant emotional rehearsal is exhaustion, resentment, bitterness, self-denial, then your subconscious will continue making decisions that maintain those emotions. You can't simply decide to feel different. You have to teach your nervous system a new emotional signature. This is where identity restoration begins. So let's talk about becoming you again. Well, really, an upgraded version. Identity is not recovered through memory. Because let's face it, when we feel stuck in a rut, when we feel like we are trapped in this new identity that we don't actually really prefer, we are actually functioning in memory. We have almost trapped ourselves in an environment where we are functioning from memory, where we just repeat the same thing every day, over and over and over and over, where we are basically living on automatic pilot. We're functioning from the past. And in order to create a new future for ourselves, we have to envision ourselves as that person. That's how we can start rewiring our brain to think differently. You can't break the loop unless you can really see yourself in that new projection, in that new life. And you can practice being that person through imagination. Your brain doesn't know the difference between something that is a true memory and something that you vividly imagined. Studies after studies have shown us this. If you vividly imagine yourself doing something, you can learn the skill, you can develop the muscle behind it, you can grow into this person. So if you vividly imagine yourself becoming that healed version of yourself, it becomes so much more possible than being stuck in this rut, because it's almost down to muscle memory. You hear the cue of your baby screaming and your nervous system reacts with stress and overwhelm and sometimes anger, and babies are going to cry, and you start being in this loop over and over and over because your brain and your body are both functioning from memory. However, if you are able to create new memories, even if it's only through imagination right now, you can create a new loop. You can break that pattern and practice it in real life and start creating different neural grooves in your brain and let that become your new normal. You have to rebuild yourself through repetition. I know it seems daunting at first. I've been there. I have been in the trenches. I have had days where I felt like I couldn't conquer a shower, and the idea of becoming a whole new person felt impossible. However, it is. And the more you practice, the easier it gets. The muscles get stronger, and it becomes your new normal. I promise you it is possible. So let's break this down into some science-backed steps. Step 1, define her. I am becoming a woman who, and finish it richly. For example, I'm becoming a woman who treats herself gently. I'm becoming a mother with emotional presence. I'm becoming a woman who dresses beautifully, even at home. Joe Dispenza calls this future self-embodiment. Your brain needs a version of you to rehearse becoming. Then there's, of course, micro upgrades. Small habits truly matter neurologically. Behavioral psychology shows that identity shifts faster through small, repetitive cues than large occasional events. Some examples that help rewire identity are brushing your hair slowly, perfume after a shower, silk pajamas instead of random sweats, earrings daily, a real skincare routine, cleaning, getting dressed before starting your day. These aren't superficial, they're neural signals. The brain thinks, women who value themselves behave like this, and that identity reinstalls. You also need to restore rituals that you used to love, because identity is stored in repetition. Examples are your morning devotion, your evening tea, reading for 10 minutes before bed, lighting candles when you clean, having a beautiful tablescape for dinner, evening stretching. Not for nostalgia, but because ritual helps anchor identity. Your brain says, I remember who I am here. You also, this is crucial, you have to remove martyr vocabulary. Notice phrases like, I guess I don't matter right now. It's fine, I'll go last. It's okay, I'll do it. It's just a season. While those things are true occasionally, When they're repeated over and over, they become identity statements. We have to shift to, I matter too. I can give and still keep myself. I deserve to exist inside my own life. Your subconscious hears you. We also have to reintroduce pleasure, not escape, pleasure. And it can be as little as 3 minutes. Putting lotion all over your body, getting outside in the sunlight, using a soft blanket, or your favorite mug, a lip balm, an unhurried tea. Pleasure signals safety. Safety helps to enable your identity and heal your nervous system. So what happens when you return to yourself? Your life stops feeling like maintenance. Your husband responds to presence rather than depletion. Your children connect with calm instead of busy energy. Your home stops feeling like a demand and becomes an environment you actively shape. The resentment dissolves because you are present again. I hear from women in my DMs on Instagram, it wasn't that I needed a break, it was that I needed to stop abandoning myself. This is identity restoration, not recovering an old version, but availing a fully present woman. You're not behind, you're not lost, you are becoming. Ladies, I so enjoy diving into nervous system and neural pathways with you. I hope that this video was helpful. If this resonated with you, please comment below saying, I'm returning to myself. And tomorrow morning, start with one micro upgrade. Even if it's as simple as brushing your hair slowly and looking into your own eyes in the mirror, because that's the moment your mind says, there she is. I want to thank you ladies again so much for being here. It is such a blessing to me, and it means a lot that you would share any time of your day with me. I hope you guys have a blessed week, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video. Bye, friends.